All right, welcome back to the LPR Trading Group YouTube channel. We've got another video for you today, and this is came in on a comment here asking about min and max delta and how to apply it to our trading. Now, at the bottom of the screen, down here, you can see I have a few rows laid out. If you look on the far right side, it's sort of hard to see, but the top row is going to tell us volume per candle or print, delta per candle or print, max delta, min delta. Okay, what are these and how do we use them? Well, the delta is going to be aggressive pressure to the bid or the offer. Now, how could this help us in our trading? Well, if we're looking at overall delta, what is the delta on the candle? This is going to tell us, for example, this print right here, this will tell us there were 697 more aggressive contracts hitting the bid than the offer. If you added up all of the numbers on the left side, all of the numbers on the right side, subtracted them, you would come up with this minus 1697. Okay, that means there's 1,697 more contracts hitting the bid than the offer. So this tells us overall aggression on this print is going to the downside. Now, how can we possibly implement something like this in our trading? Well, we can look at a few things. We can look at delta rotations, and we can also look at areas like this where we're not exactly rotating delta instantly, but if we look down here in our rows at the bottom, we can see as we're moving down aggressively, right? We have lots of imbalances to the sell side, so those are aggressive orders hitting the bid. We have closing deltas largely in the negative. We have minimum deltas very close to the closing delta number, and we have very low max deltas. So if we look at min and max delta, the max delta of 192, this means on this print, the highest that this delta got in the positive was 192 contracts in favor of those hitting the offer. The lowest it got was 837 minus 837 contracts to those hitting the bid. Where did it close? It closed at minus 681. So the 681 is relatively close to the 831. This means that the aggressive sellers on the bid are applying pressure. Okay? Now, how can we use this in a scenario like this? Well, if we talk about, I guess this is sort of like a longer term delta rotation, but if we look at the aggression right here to the sell side, and right when we're done with 1, 2, 3 prints, and we start going sideways here, we actually see more positive delta rolling in, okay? We see more positive delta rolling in. We see much lower min delta. We're also forming structure. This is a way that we can establish, along with other pieces of our puzzle, that this might be the area where buyers have come to play, and if sellers do give up and they can't win the battle, this could be the area that the buyers are going to take over and shoot the market to the upside. Now this is ES, so this is the example we're using. Again, we'll go over it one more time. We've got lots of negative delta on high volume, pushing price down. Volume starts dying out. We start consolidating, basing, ranging, balancing, whatever you want to call it. Those negative deltas, negative min deltas, are not as aggressive, not aggressive at all actually, and we're getting more aggressive max deltas and overall delta closes. Okay, this again is a sign that we could possibly be reversing. Let's go back and see if we can find some more examples here of a possible delta rotation on a single print. We'll look at something like this. Okay, so even this right here starts perking my interest. Okay, a print like this. These numbers are lower, but I'll give you the general idea here. If we look at this number right here, 357, that means the max delta, okay, was 357. At some point, the aggressive orders to the offer, the buyers, were 357 contracts, let's call it in control. Okay? We went from 357 contracts and we closed the delta at minus 291. That's a rotation of over 600 contracts, right? From buyers being aggressively in control by 357 contracts to the sellers being in control by minus 291 contracts. So they've rotated the delta about 640 contracts the other way. Well, this doesn't just mean open short this, right? This is just a clue to our puzzle. Now we start looking for puzzle pieces as price ebb and flows around to see if we can get entries. Now, what are possible entries for me, or what are possible other ideas that we could see in this trade? Well, if this is the candle that's showing us the delta rotation, 2 candles after, we get really aggressive sell imbalances here. This is another piece of the puzzle. We have volume building up into the highs of this little push here. Volume building up into the highs. Our expectation is when price comes down, pushes back up, if sellers are in fact in control, we can sell this volume with multiple pieces of the puzzle, delta rotations, imbalances, volume. We can sell this area with a good chance that the market's going to turn over and roll. Let's see if we can find another example here. This was a crazy day today too, by the way. Just absolutely insane. Okay, here's like a 2 candle rotation here. So if we look at this, and we put these 2 prints together, right? We've got a max delta of 1137. So buyers are in control by 1137 contracts. Immediately after, what happens? Delta rotates. All of a sudden, the next print, minus 2,352 contracts. This means sellers have absolutely crushed these buyers. So if we put this all into one print, it would look something like this. We'd have a max delta of 1137. We'd have a min delta of minus 2,375, and we'd have a closing delta of minus 2,352. So the way this looks as price is playing out, if you had this max delta right here, this would mean price is going up, buyers are in control, and sellers absolutely crush this thing with the min delta being here and the closing delta being here. And this is exactly what happened on price. So we get this big candle right here, big positive delta, lots of buying balances to the upside. It gets shut down, volume at the highs. We get crushed. Boom. Completely pushes price right down. So what do we have now? We have a delta rotation. We have a strong bar to the downside, right? Lots of imbalances to the downside. What I would typically look for is where's the volume within this print? It's right around this area, right? This is the volume within this print. What happens? We open up, we push down, we pull up, we reject volume, and we start rolling over. So this is how you can use your deltas, min-max deltas in your trading. Absolutely do not take a trade just strictly based off of rotation. The way that we work is we put these pieces of the puzzle together in order to form a thesis, as we sort of have this market lawyer mindset. The more pieces of the puzzle you have, the more evidence you have, the stronger your trade's going to be. And with all these pieces of the puzzle, you can form a very short-term bias to say buyers are in control, sellers are in control. Use your other criteria and really push these trades to the max, right? I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and for whoever left that comment, I really appreciate it. I hope this video helps you out a little bit, and I hope it helps everyone else out that's watching the video. Until next time, we'll see you on the charts.